What's it like to go for a swim in the Colorado River on New Year's Day? We get the scoop. Phil Lindemann, Krystal, 93 News. Snow was falling and temps were in the 20s, but the water on the Colorado River was just warm enough yesterday for more than 100 hardcore paddlers to brave the Shoshone Rapids.
Every year there's ice floating in the river next to you, so you come out the rapid and the water kind of gets clear and you see chunks, which is kind of a trip. But this year there was like big ice sieves like sticking off the rocks and coming off the shore.
That was Chris Johnson, a Soul Paddleboards team athlete based in Vail. It was his third time floating the Colorado on January 1st, and yes, he took a swim.
You know, we're all wearing dry suits, so the only thing that gets wet is your head. And when I got my full submersion, it's quite the shock to the system.
Joining Johnson and the Soul crew were local legends like pro kayaker Ken Hovey of Vail, plus paddlers from as far as Montrose and Salt Lake City.
It's just a nice way to kick off the year. You start the year right with paddling. You know, everybody who's out there is super passionate about the river and being on it.
The crew ended the day with tequila and a dip at the Iron Mountain Hot Springs, warming their blood and bones. 2 new deputies joined the Summit County Sheriff's Office this year for traffic enforcement, and Sheriff Jamie Fitzsimons says they are sorely needed.
People drive pretty unsafe out there, so we're hoping to change driving habits and educate people.
Fitzsimons claims local roads are busier than ever, and the numbers agree. I-70 broke 3-day traffic records almost every weekend in 2019, with an average of 54,000 cars per day in mid-June.
I get so many complaints about just the congestion and people not driving politely through the county, and people fearing for their safety.
But not everyone is happy about traffic cops. On Facebook, a man who drives for Uber and Lyft says he got a $155 ticket New Year's Eve, writing, quote, "It's already on the verge of harassment in Summit County. They will come up with any excuses to see if they can find a reason to give a citation." The flu has sent more than 39,000 Americans to the hospital since October, and 1 in 18 have died, roughly 2,100 people. Health experts at Ball State University say the flu can have devastating impacts on the workplace, especially when paired with low unemployment. Since 2010, the flu has cost employers $38 to $90 billion annually in lost productivity and sick pay. The study shows that for every 1% increase in employment, doctors' visits go up 16%, most likely thanks to close contact with sick coworkers and fewer reserve employees to cover for sick time. Tomorrow is the first Friday of 2020 when snow artist Simon Beck brings his unusual craft to the newest park in Silverthorne. Starting today, Beck is at Maryland Creek Park, north of town, building the first of up to 15 sculptures, inspired by the simplicity of a snowflake and master artists like Vincent van Gogh. Beck's art is part of the first Friday Silverthorne Snowball, with avalanche beacon training, kids games, and Avi Dog meet and greets. Silverthorne Snowball is tomorrow, Friday, from 4:30 to 7:30 p.m. at Maryland Creek Park. 2 snowmobilers were killed yesterday by an avalanche in Montana. The CAIC reports 3 people were riding in northwestern Montana near Seeley Lake when the slide struck, burying 2 of them. The third was uninjured and called 911 for help. The deceased were recovered by search and rescue several hours later. Avalanche danger was high near Seeley Lake yesterday. In Summit, danger is considerable today after 6 to 9 inches county-wide yesterday. In sports, the Nuggets play the Pacers tonight at 5. The Avalanche play the Blues at 7:30. And in local sports, brought to you by Wilderness Sports in Dillon, Summit High Sports return in just 2 days on Saturday when Tigers Ice Hockey plays Mullen High on the Front Range. Phil Lindemann, Krystal, 93 News.